right, welcome, Kings. Today I am coming to share an update regarding the Tyree Nichols case. For those of you who are not familiar with the case, Tyree Nichols was brutally murdered on January 7th by 5 Black police officers. One of the most despicable and horrendous police brutality cases ever. And I think a lot of it is personal, which is why it hit close to home. We deem it in the Black community as extremely personal because his murder was at the hands of his own kind. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of passion attached to this case for the simple fact when it comes to the ideology of community and village, there are some things that are just off limits, and they knew better. So we're going to be talking about that today. Not only that, these 5 cowards were actually running an alleged fight ring for many, many years. Okay. This was just a fight ring. They were no different than gangbangers and thugs. The only difference, honey, is that they wore a badge and a uniform and had a permit and a right to carry a loaded weapon. Let's get into it. For those of you who are just tuning in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Queen Shiba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things. Before I jump in, I just want to place a disclaimer out there that I will not be showing any graphic photos or any graphic videos. So you're good to go. Okay, you are good to go with that. I like to prioritize the mental well-being of my audience as well as myself. However, at any point throughout this commentary, should it become emotionally overwhelming for you, I advise you to log off. Take care of yourself. Log off. Y'all, these 5 cowards were running an underground fight ring, allegedly. Oh, yeah, honey, it's deep. You know what I'm saying? I shared with you in my first video, I'm sorry. Please go back and familiarize yourself with that content should you need to. But I shared more than likely, based on a psychological perspective and a behavioral component, this is probably not their first time doing this. And that's a fact. It's not their first time. I want to talk about a couple of things, the commonalities that Tyree Nichols had with both Breonna Taylor and Shanquella Robinson. I want to talk about the background of the police officers. But let's get into Tyree Nichols. He was a 29-year-old father. Very, very free spirit. Very colorful. Enjoyed nature by way of sunset. Okay? He worked for FedEx. So we're not talking about, nor will we depict him as a nobody, a freeloader. Just like sometimes that's what happens when we deal with police brutality. Oftentimes, the victim is depicted in the most negative manner. This man weighed 150 pounds. Okay. 2-parent home, deep family ties. Deep family ties. On his way home, y'all, from taking photos of the sunset. His mother said he would go every day to Sheldon Farms and take photos of the sunset. So this man was on his way home, okay, when an unmarked police vehicle pulled up, yanked him out of his car, beat him to death. I gave you the background. But let's talk about the commonalities that both Tyree Nichols, Shanquella Robinson, and Breonna Taylor have in common. I'll start with the connection between Tyree and Breonna Taylor. Both Tyree and Breonna Taylor were both born June 5th, 1993. What is that? A strong, strong coincidence. So that's the connection to Breonna Taylor. Number two, both of them died at the hands of police, both Tyree and Breonna. Now let's move on to the commonalities between Tyree Nichols and Shanquilla Robinson. Both Tyree and Shanquilla Robinson died of broken necks. Yeah, that's right. Let's back up. How do you know that, Queen Sheba? Well, we know that with Shanquilla Robinson, but how do we know that with Tyree Nichols? Number one, his family is a little bit more vocal and forthcoming and open with sharing the medical reports with the public. His mother said that they lied to her. When she got the call, they lied to her and they told her that her son had only been pepper sprayed and tased. Shanquilla's mother was also lied to. Remember, she was told that her child had passed from alcohol poisoning. Tyree's mother said that when she entered the hospital room that day, she knew her son had already passed. And she's like, "What the hell? Pepper spray and tase don't equate to what I'm seeing." Okay? His neck had been broken, according to his mother. His head had been swollen to the size of a watermelon, kidney failure, and he had gone through cardiac arrest. Now, one thing about cardiac arrest, you can code many times. You could code 3, 4 times before the final one. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know how many times he coded. They call it a code blue, cardiac arrest. Okay. What's the commonalities between he and Shanquilla Robinson? Both individuals, their parents were lied to. Both of them sustained injuries causing their necks to be broken. Number three, both Tyree and Shanquilla died at the hands of a mob of African Americans. Y'all, what the hell is going on? There is something more sinister to this. It's just something, you know what? It could be like they say, the times, the days that we're living in. I have a feeling it will only get worse. So let's back up. Because if you look at the police reports and what the media is releasing, what they're telling us as the general public is that Tyree Nichols died days later at the hospital. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I think allegedly, in my opinion, Memphis Police Department, I think you're covering up the fact that there's a strong possibility that those cops killed him right there at that stop sign. And could that be the reason why the EMTs and the fire department did not intervene to issue life saving techniques because he was already gone? His mother said he was gone. She knew he was gone when she walked in the hospital. But the media, y'all, what they're trying to give us is days later. The mom said, no, he was gone. He wasn't even breathing on his own. So I'm more inclined to lean on the side of the mother. The mother has nothing to hide. She has no reputation to protect. She's not a police force or a municipality. Therefore, I'm heavily assuming, allegedly, that they took his life right then, right there on the spot. Well, let's talk about who were these cops? A bunch of cowards, misfits. Y'all, they should have never been on that police force. Let's talk about it. Two of them had violent backgrounds, had charges brought against them. Not formal or official, but complaints brought against them, y'all, from very early ages. Officer Bean had already been involved with pledging, hazing, cruel treatment of other Black men, sadistic hazing behaviors, okay? I'm inclined to believe that Bean got off on torturing other young men because he has a history of that. He was the president of the fraternity that got called to the carpet for this heinous behavior. But yet, when we coddle boys, nothing happens. So now he enters into a police force, right? With questionable practices. Officer Haley. Y'all, he was accused of assault in 2016. He and two other officers beat somebody unconscious, slammed his head on a porcelain sink. The man woke up in the infirmary in the prison. Now, just like they alleged that Tyree Nichols was driving reckless, Officer Haley and his counterparts alleged that they saw smoke coming from the inmate's cell that they beat, right? Allegedly. So they always have a reason, it seems, in their track records for doing or having approached the individuals. They're saying more and more people are starting to come forward um, regarding this group. And the Underground Fight Club, y'all, check this out. It's supposed to be a special unit, and it's called the Scorpion Unit. And now that more and more people are finding the courage to come forward, y'all, there's allegations of them just randomly beating black men because they can. One man was picking up pizza for his family to eat dinner, and they just ran up on him, just like they did Tyree. Started calling him names, just like you saw in the video, pointing guns to his head, yelling obscenities, beat him up. Complaints were made, and the Memphis Police Department did nothing. This is an underground fight club. They are no different than the hoodlums and the thugs that you see on the street, except they have permission to do what they did, and they were protected. You get what I'm saying? Not only that, the more you feed a monster, the more it grows. So the fact that their behavior escalated to this level lets you know there was a bit of protection, a bit of a nodding of the head, just because they could, just beating up on black men. Some of them have declined to offer any additional information. When I say some of the men that have made claims, some of them, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. They just saw what happened to Tyree. So I would be scared too to come back and say something now that I know that they've actually gotten away with killing someone. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is a fight club. I think it's all going to come out allegedly. Oh yeah, this is a fight club, Memphis Police Department. And you knew about it. You knew about it for a number of years. We can go all the way back to what? 2018, 19, 21, to at least 5 years. I don't know, 4 or 5 years. So what's really going on with this? I believe there's more to come. I believe there's a medical reason that the EMTs and the firefighters did not get involved. I think when they arrived, I think Tyree was already gone. Last but not least, I just wanted to take a moment to pay homage to his mother. Man, that's a beautiful woman inside and out. To sit there with the dignity and the strength that she possessed to be able to say, I can accept the fact that my son is gone because he has completed God's assignment. His life here on earth was an assignment sent by God, and now that he's done, God has taken him home to heaven. That was so beautiful. Both she and her husband sat united, strong on the behalf of their son. And although his life was brutally taken, the composure and the dignity that this queen exuded lets you know that this boy, Tyree Nichols, this man, came from nothing but stellar bloodline. So let's please keep these parents and the families in our prayers. And once again, our call to action for 2023, y'all, is to not sit back and let shit happen. Vocalize your concerns. Say something. Push back. Don't let bad behavior go unchecked. You know what I'm saying? Say something. And that's how we can make a difference.